Hey my peoples, welcome back to my channel and back to another video. Yes, if you watched my last video, I am wearing the same shirt because I'm filming on the same day. Don't judge me. So today we're going to be talking about a very, I guess some would say, sensitive topic. To me, it's just a topic that needs to be talked about because it's crazy out in these streets. So as somebody who used to be on the left, like myself, I can tell you that the narrative has always been, for as long as I can remember, that racism, bigotry, prejudice only lives on the right. Republicans, conservatives, they are the most racist people. They are the most closed-minded people. They hate black people. They hate Latino people. They hate Asian people. They just don't like anybody who isn't white. That has always been the narrative by people on the left, especially the extreme left, who love to parrot that type of, I guess, verbal diarrhea on all of us. And it's something that I never really bought into, even when I was on the left. Now, full disclosure, I wasn't always on the left. I actually grew up conservative, and then I shifted more to the left as I got into my 20s and early 30s, and then thankfully I woke up and came back to the right side of things. If you guys are interested in my full story about how I left the left and why I left the left, you definitely can click on the video up here. I'm gonna have a link in my description as well that goes into more detail. But synopsis, I woke up. I woke up. But that doesn't change the fact that when I scroll through my timeline, whether it be on Instagram, here on YouTube, Twitter, whatever it may be, I still see people making really generalized comments about people on the right and how people on the left are so awakened and so anti-prejudice and anti-racist. And I'm like, really? Really? Which brings me to today's video that I'm going to be reacting to. Actually, two videos. The first video is going to be displaying just how low people on the left think of black people and people of color in this country when it comes to access, when it comes to knowledge, when it comes to basic skills. I mean, you would think that black people and Latino people are handicapped and aren't able to do the same things that white people are able to do because we have no privileges, because we have no access. I mean, it's crazy how low the bar is set on the left when it comes to people of color and when it comes to black people. It's insulting. It really is. So this video is actually from 5 years ago, but it is still so relevant to today. It was during the election that was coming up for 2020, and this is from the Daily Wire. Do voter ID laws suppress the black vote? And you're going to hear what liberals have to say as to why voter suppression laws is a thing, supposedly, and why we need to have a very low bar for black people when it comes to voting because of their limited intelligence and access. You heard me right. So without further ado, let's watch this video together. I only saw about 10 seconds of the video, and then I was like, I need to react to this because this is so on brand to what I've been thinking about recently regarding the generalizations that people on the left put on people on the right.
I'm Ami Horowitz, and I'm here in Berkeley, California to find out if voter ID laws suppress the black vote.
Nice music.
Do you have an opinion on voter ID laws?
Yeah, they're usually pretty racist and they're bad. I think voter ID laws are a way to perpetuate racism.
Would you go as far to say that those laws are racist?
For sure.
Do you think it suppresses the African American vote?
Definitely. Because they're less likely to have state IDs.
Minority voters are less likely to have the kinds of IDs that have been described or required.
These type of people don't live in areas with easy access to DMVs or other places where they can get identification.
You can always get IDs do over the internet.
Okay, really quickly, I gotta jump in. I'm sorry. I gotta jump in. So did I hear that correctly? Did I hear these types of people are less likely to have access to IDs? These types of people are less likely to be able to gain access to IDs? Like minorities don't have access. Minorities don't really have IDs, really? Because all my life, I've always had an ID. In fact, what do you know? I have an ID. Oh my God. The bar has been raised. I mean, the idea that people of color, i.e. black and Latino people, that we don't carry IDs, that we don't have access to IDs, that we just don't, it doesn't really register to us that we need to have IDs because we don't know how to do that. Okay, A, who told you that? B, obtaining an ID is one of the easiest things to do. It is the easiest thing to do. And who in this day and age does not have an ID? And then the question is, why don't you have an ID if you don't have one? What's going on? But again, the bar is always so low for us, right? So in their perspective, they're probably thinking, well, most Latin people don't have IDs because most Latin people are undocumented. That's what they want to say. And also, most black people don't have IDs because most black people are afraid of getting caught and going to prison or going to jail for a crime that they committed, right? That's what you really want to say liberal. Let's keep it real. Because what other reason would there be for black people and Latino people and people of color not to have access to IDs or not have an ID with them? And why do I keep hearing we just don't have access? Those types of people just don't have access. Those types of people. And of course, this is on a liberal college campus. Of course. Let's keep watching.
Is that also would make it difficult for black people in particular?
Yeah, you have to have access to the internet. You have to be able to pay an internet service provider for certain fees.
Do you think that's harder for black people to go online?
Well, I feel like they don't have the knowledge of how it works.
A lot of people have smartphones.
Wait a minute. Black people don't have knowledge how to use the internet? Something that's been around for over, 30 years now? Black people don't have access to the internet. Black people can't pay for internet service. Are you hearing what I'm hearing? Are you seeing what I'm seeing? But yet, Republicans on the right, they're the racist. They're the ones that have a low bar for black people. These kids, I guarantee you, are leftist liberals. Guarantee you.
Phones, but you might not have data.
For most of the communities, they don't really know what is out there just because they're not aware or they're not informed.
I also think there's a repression of black voting with how if you're a convicted felon, you're not allowed to vote and everything. And when you look at swing states like Florida, that's a huge population of the African Americans.
Now I'm hearing.
So most black people are convicted felons. You heard it, folks. She literally said that some of the voting rights rules or limitations is against people who are convicted felons, which is true. But how does that correlate to black people? Oh, because all black people are convicted felons, right? Because most black people living in Florida are convicted felons. So that must be what it is. Black people in crime are like peanut butter and jelly.
East Harlem to ask black people their thoughts on what you just heard. Do you have ID normally? You carry ID around?
Yes, I have state ID.
Do you carry ID?
Yes, I do.
Do you know any black person who doesn't carry ID?
No. Everyone that I know has an ID. Why would they think we don't have ID?
That's a lie. Why would they say that?
Do you have ID?
Yes.
Because I have my ID and my friends have their ID, so we know what we need to carry around.
Everybody that I know have ID. That's one of the things you need to walk around with New York with.
Hello.
ID.
Do you know any black adult who does not have ID?
No, I don't.
Is it a weird thing to even say that?
Yes, it is.
What is this, some type of trick candy cameras?
I know, right? That's the only thing I brought with me.
Those are legit IDs. I heard a lot also that black people can't figure out how to get to the DMV.
Really?
What does that say to you?
I know it's on 25th Street.
Do you know where the DMV is around you?
It's on 125th Street and 3rd Avenue, I believe.
You know how to get there?
Yeah.
Would you have a problem getting there if you had to get there?
No.
I know these sound like silly questions. You know how to get to the DMV?
Of course.
You know where it is?
Yes.
You can get there?
Uh-huh.
No problem.
No problem.
Just checking.
Okay.
And I also heard a lot that black people, especially poor black people, have no access to the internet, can't figure out how to use the internet.
That's just stupidity, honestly. Everybody has access to the internet. Even a little kid can figure out how to work the internet.
Come on.
Access to the internet for years.
You know how to use it properly, right?
Exactly. I do it at work. So, of course, I know how to use it. My kids know how to use it. They all have iPads, iPods, whatever.
Your phone has data? Mm-hmm. You can actually
unlimited.
Unlimited data.
Mm-hmm. I use my phone as a hotspot.
What does that say to you for the people who have this perception of black people?
They're pretty much ignorant. That's what my thought process on it.
I just think that's ignorant. It's ignorant.
Ignorant. That's the word I hear a lot.
Ignorant.
Ignorant.
It's very, very ignorant.
Does it sound racist for somebody to say that?
I think it is a little racist because, you're putting people in a category and you have no idea what you're talking about.
Mm-hmm. Maybe a little bit of racist in it, but like I said, I think it's more stupidity and ignorance.
You're judging somebody, but you're judging them because they black, saying that they don't got it.
What people are they talking to? Who are these people talking to?
Do you have a problem that if you go to vote and they say, "Could we please see your ID to make sure you are who you say you are"? Are you
Love showing my ID.
You have no problem with that?
Nope.
Would you have a problem if when you go to vote, if they say, "Could we please see your ID to make sure you are who you say you are"? Do you have an issue with that?
No.
Would you have a problem if there was a rule where you had to show your ID in order to vote?
I don't think so. No.
Would you have an issue if there was a rule saying you got to show your ID before you vote?
Nah.
You cool with that?
Yeah.
I mean, how embarrassing. How embarrassing for these white liberals who are the white saviors who think that they're doing a justice for black people and for people of color by generalizing these people into the lowest common denominator, the lowest of the low. Don't have access to the internet, don't know how to use the internet, can't pay your internet bill, don't have any ID, don't know how to get to the DMV office, don't have knowledge of how to obtain an ID. I mean, are we not seeing the problem here? There's nothing funnier to me than a white liberal who is trying to fight for equal rights while only displaying just how prejudiced and ignorant they are. But that's the party that is constantly saying, if you're a person of color, you better vote for us. You better vote with us. Because like Joe Biden said.
You got more questions, but I tell you, if you have a problem figuring out whether you're for me or Trump, then you ain't black.
Translation, don't use your brain. You're black. Vote blue. And speaking of Mr. Biden, the greatest president of all time, we're going to react to another video. This one is entitled, New Yorkers Shocked by the Real Joe Biden Quotes. Oh, this should be fun. I love New Yorkers because as a former New York person, born and raised in the Boogie Down Bronx, people from New York keep it real. There is no wall when it comes to saying what you feel. Very blunt people. So I expect these reactions to be nothing but entertaining. Let's go.
Really? Wow.
I'm Ami Horowitz, and Democrats will have you believe that President Trump is a raging racist and Joe Biden is a champion of the black community. Well, I'm here in Harlem to find out by playing America's favorite game, Is This Racist? So I hit the streets to find some Biden-supporting Democrats to play the game. Let's go.
This should be fun.
Okay, the game is this. I'm going to give you a quote, and you're going to tell me how racist that quote is, from 10 being most racist, 1 being least racist.
Okay. I've been around. I went to an all-white high school, so I'm ready for this.
Referring to Barack Obama, he said, first mainstream African-American who is bright, articulate, and clean. How racist?
10.
Who is bright, articulate, and clean.
Yeah, that's up there. That's like gotta be like a 10, a 9. Yeah, because it's like you're implying that most black people, most African Americans aren't that way.
That's just like that was just like, you know, moderate racist.
It's kind of racist. I would say probably 9. Just because somebody's articulate and clean and they happen to be black, you know, that's not a reason to say it like that. So, you know, I would say that on a scale
On the racist-o-meter.
8.
I was a 7.
A 7. Yeah. So still racist,
That's still real.
but not crazy racist.
Yeah, not crazy, like, not huge.
Right.
Say that's like a 9.
That's a 9.
That's a 9. That's a 9.
She said, if you don't vote for me talking about black people, then you ain't black.
Okay, hold on. Before we get to the next quote, wow. The first African-American who is bright, articulate, and clean? What? And this guy is who Barack Obama picked as his running mate. That guy. That's the one. Make it make sense. You can't. Wow. I'm actually floored for the first time. Like, that is the most ignorant thing to say, and I guarantee you, if you were to read that quote to people without telling them who it came from, if they were on the left, they would 110% assume it must have been Donald Trump. It must have been a Republican. It must have been somebody on the right. Yeah. Then again, Joe Biden's also the same person who had an issue with Kamala Harris because she accused him of being against busing, which was a process back in the 60s to integrate schools with black and white children. And at the time, Biden was like, I'm not going to get involved in that. And she called him out on that. And of course, his way of fixing that issue, right, is making her his running mate. Gotta love it. Okay, let's keep going.
10. You don't vote for me, not black. I'm gonna say that one, it's definitely not as high as the other one.
Okay.
It's definitely up there.
Yeah.
But I would say that's like a 6-7.
6-7.
6.5.
6.5. I like that. I like the accuracy on that.
Yeah.
Exactitude.
Okay. And for someone to imply that is a bit like, who are you to tell me if I'm black or not? So yeah, I'd say that's about a 10.
I'm gonna give that a 8.
An 8.
That's just a dumbass comment.
Referring to
Yes, it is.
busing, bringing black people to white schools, he said that would create a racial jungle. I don't want my kids going to a racial jungle. How racist is that?
It's like a 9.
By doing that, you're creating racial jungles. And I don't want my children
That's a 10.
going to race. That's a 10.
That's a 10.
Spot, off the bat.
I was bust. I understand that. That's a 10.
Straight up.
Straight up.
I would say 10.
That's a reader racist quote.
Yeah.
Definitely.
I would say 10 too.
10.
That's a 10.
Why would you say something like that? That's like thinking about saying that's a jail.
If you had a 20, it would be a 20.
That was as racist as you can get.
That's racism in a book. Like, if you want to be racist, you gotta say that.
Like, you said that.
In referring to
And I guarantee you, sadly, majority of these individuals who are answering these questions, who have no idea that it was Joe Biden who said it, probably voted for Joe Biden. That's the sad part of it all. How people have been sold to drink the Kool-Aid.
inner city Baltimore, he said it's a rat-infested hellhole.
That's 100% true. It is.
So not a racist statement.
Not a racist statement at all.
Like you're living in poverty and your schools are no good. Is that a racist statement?
No. Not whatsoever.
I would say probably 1.
That's true. See, these are facts. So you can't put in a
Plot twist.
story because he's stating something just really basically facts.
Our inner cities are a disaster. Is that a racist statement?
Statement, but it's not racist. I would say probably 2.
Something like that, that
Okay.
I don't feel it's a racist statement. It is something that's real.
Hello.
And changed.
The quote about Barack Obama being bright, articulate.
Before we get into when he reveals who actually said the racist comments, yeah, I always laugh whenever liberals get upset when Donald Trump or any person on the right talks about their inner city and how bad it is. Now, somebody who grew up and was born and raised in the inner city myself, I can tell you that that quote is not racist. That quote is accurate. Very, very accurate, sadly. The school systems in the inner city are a joke. They're trash. They're garbage. There's no funding. It is ghetto. Yes, it is. And it is not healthy for any child to go through the inner city system and expect them to have the same opportunities that somebody in the suburbs is getting. Because in the suburbs, they have more funding, they have better teaching, it's a better environment, it's just different all the way around. And a perfect example of this is when I was in high school, I was not a great student. I was like a C average student because the school that I went to was horrible. Absolutely horrible. In fact, so bad that today it's been shut down. No longer has access because it was so poorly funded. It was just a horrible, horrible high school that I went to. Very violent, nothing but gangs. I mean, it was bad. And one of my close friends who went to school with me in high school, she ended up moving to New Jersey, to a suburb in New Jersey. And she was like a D average student when she was in my high school. And when she went to New Jersey, about maybe 4 or 5 months later, we were talking to each other on the phone. And she was telling me like, yo, I'm an A+ student now. Like, how did that happen? Like, I literally am learning so much. I'm literally realizing that I'm not the problem, that I'm not an idiot, I'm not dumb. It was just a school that we were going to. I actually see what good teaching looks like. I actually have better access. The books aren't outdated. The computers are actually up to date. The teachers are patient. The teachers know what they're doing. Like, I'm an A+ student. D- in the inner city, A+ in the suburbs. Difference is the setting, the funding, the teaching. I mean, it is what it is. Not to mention the fact that most of these schools are in Democrat-run cities or counties. It is what it is. And calling that out is not racist. Calling that out is addressing an issue that needs to be addressed and fixed, because kids in the inner city should have the same access to kids in the suburbs. Your education shouldn't be limited based on the zip code that you live in. But unfortunately in this country, if you say that, according to the left, you're a racist. Because black and brown people just can't learn at the same capacity as white people. Black and brown people need a different learning style because they can't comprehend what white people can comprehend. These are the things that white liberals literally say. I'm not even joking, no exaggeration. And by the way, my friend who went from the inner city to the suburbs, who became a straight A student, was black. Let's keep watching.
Articulate and clean, Joe Biden.
Really? Wow. And that was his VP, like, wow.
Yeah, a little surprised?
Yeah.
The quote about you ain't black, don't vote for me was Joe Biden.
He said that?
He did say that.
Wow. Wow.
You seem blown away.
Yeah, because it's just like, as someone who's, I'm not gonna lie, an open Democrat, like, you would expect that when you represent that party, you wouldn't feel comfortable saying things like that in the open and on media. So you have so many people, specifically black people, that are backing you, and you just felt comfortable saying something like that.
Saying you don't vote for me, you ain't a black person, Joe Biden.
Yeah, he did say, I remember
that was
yeah.
Joe Biden again?
Joe Biden again. Joe Biden.
Yep.
Said to Charlemagne the God.
Joe Biden again.
And the last quote about the racial jungle with busing with Joe Biden.
It makes me fearful.
Everybody knows that Joe Biden's racist. Why?
Does everybody know that?
I think you should know that Joe Biden ran 3 times for president and he's racist. He never won unless it was the actual black person on his ticket. So.
Because most people were shocked to hear those quotes came from Joe Biden.
Really?
Yeah, most people here did not know that.
Ain't that something? I just thought about that. Joe Biden was only able to get to the White House 2 times by one, being on a ticket with Barack Obama, a black man, and then putting Kamala Harris on his ticket as VP, a black woman. And then he tells black people, if you don't vote for me, you ain't black. Wow. Is your mind blown yet? Are you seeing what I'm seeing? The pattern here? But Trump is a racist. Right.
He thinks the Democratic Party has taken the black vote for granted.
Definitely. 100%. They want our vote, but it's not nothing being done to make a difference as far as the conditions and the changes that we really need. It goes to a deaf ear. It's like nobody's listening to what needs to be done.
I feel like they come in and do a photo op and try to highlight it instead of really fixing the issue. Because they do it down the line, you get in office, you turn your back on us.
Of course, everything has always been for years, man.
I would say something. And I also say that when they need blood, that's when they come to us. And after that, hey, they don't see them.
Of course they do. They only use it for their game when they're trying to win an election.
I'm going to be honest with you, I genuinely feel that way. I find that when black people, when it's time to vote, they kind of like go to the black community like, we have your vote, we have your back, right? And black people are like, yeah, and then it's like as soon as, the vote's done and you have it, it's like you drop us like a hot stack of potatoes and you just like walk away from us. It's like you don't do anything for our communities, you don't do anything for like us in general.
Most of the time, they don't do what they're supposed to do for black people. So it's like no matter what, they're gonna vote for us anyway because that's how we've been conditioned to vote for Democrats.
You say Barack Obama did anything to improve your life over about 8 years?
No, not at all. He did nothing for me.
In the 8 years he was president, do you think he made a significant improvement in your day-to-day life?
No, not me.
Did your lives get better under Barack Obama?
Nothing has changed.
Not quite. We was happy to see a black person in the White House. Sure. But it didn't really, there was no big change like we expected. He said, yes, we can.
More black people actually died in America when he became president.
During his term?
During the first term and everything.
But in Barack Obama's day, he was just sweet talking. Sweet talking. That was it.
It's a black person in office, so we automatically just run to him and say it's a good thing. Right. When it's not. Obama wasn't a good person. He has killed children and women.
Right, he didn't deliver. You're saying in the inner cities, right?
Yeah.
Democrats are being voted for, nothing's being changed.
Correct.
So you're implying that we should vote for Republicans in those cities and see if there's going to be a difference?
That's what the Republicans are saying.
That's what they're saying?
For sure.
Huh. If something's not working, like, someone's got to be open to new ideas, obviously. But let's hear these ideas first. Why not?
What a thought, right? So I should stop voting Democrat because you're doing nothing for me? In all these years, you've done nothing for me, and I should vote a different way and see if that changes anything? Yeah. Why is that like so difficult? But I get it because there is a stigma that is put on people of color, particularly black and Latino people, that if we do not vote blue, if we don't vote left, if we don't vote how we're expected to vote, then we're sellouts. Something's wrong with us. Stop shucking and jiving. Like, those are the comments that I hear all the time. In fact, I just had an exchange with somebody on Instagram who is a black man who is a pro-Biden supporter, and I challenged, why he supports Biden for these very same reasons. And let me read one of his comments to me that he said in our exchange, which I found to be really, really funny. He said, "Dems do more than white supremacist repubs who are trying to erase black history." Not true. "Among other atrocities, y'all sellouts," that would be me, a Latin person, "like to dismiss facts that you don't like, so I'm not wasting any pearls on swine. LOL." So I guess I'm swine. Ain't it funny how he says people like myself don't want to hear facts? Really? Facts like you ain't black if you don't vote for Biden? Facts like Obama is the first articulate, clean, intelligent person? Facts like if black and white children go to school together, it will be like a racial jungle? Let me remind you that Democrats were the party of the KKK. Democrats were the founders of the KKK. Democrats were fighting on the side of the Confederates during the Civil War against Republicans. In fact, it was a Republican president, Abraham Lincoln, who helped end slavery. But those facts are inconvenient. People, it's time to wake up and be independent, free thinkers. Don't just vote a certain way because you are expected to vote that way. Don't just vote a certain way because your melanin tells you I have to vote that way, even though voting that way for the past 30 years has done nothing for my community and nothing for my personal life. And in fact, it's worse. But yet I'm gonna keep doing the same thing over and over again. The definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result. So why not try something new? Let me know in the comments down below what you think of this video, what you think of these reactions. Where do you stand on this issue? Do you think that Biden is actually a very racist person masquerading as a liberator of black people? Because I do. If you enjoy my content, please do not forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Don't forget to hit my notification bell so you know when I post a brand new video. I'm also available on all social media platforms under CurlyBoyChuck. Until next time, peace.